Hi, my name is Star Penn, and I'm the founder and creator of the JIA Blueprint. And today I'm going to talk to you about what I did when nothing else worked for my daughter's juvenile arthritis. So, if you're a parent of a child with juvenile arthritis, then you've had the moments of where you felt completely overwhelmed. Maybe you do right now. You have all the appointments, you're doing all the research, you're changing all the foods, trying all the supplements, and yet you're still finding yourself wondering, what am I missing? I know that feeling because I lived it. About 10 years ago, my daughter Serafina was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis, and I was desperately searching for answers. So today, I want to share the biggest realization that changed everything for us. In the beginning, I thought the goal was going to be simple: reduce inflammation. And that was it. If I could lower inflammation, I assumed that everything else would improve. So I focused on anti-inflammatory diets, anti-inflammatory supplements, and any kind of anti-inflammatory strategy I could find. But eventually, I realized that I was asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how do I reduce her inflammation? What I needed to be asking is, why is her body creating inflammation in the first place? That question changed everything. I want you to think about your car engine light. When it goes on, would you put tape over the light and just keep going and assume that the problem was solved? No, because you know that the light isn't the problem. The light is telling you that there's a problem. And I started to wonder if inflammation worked in the same way. What if her swollen joints weren't the root problem? What if they were just a signal? What if her body was trying to communicate that something deeper was happening? That idea completely changed the way that I approach my daughter's health, and for the better. I began to study the gut and detoxification and things like nutrient deficiencies and really just how the immune system really works. And what I discovered was that the immune system, it doesn't operate over here in isolation like we've been told. It's constantly responding to information from the gut, from the environment, from infections in the body, from our child's nutrient status at that time, and from their level of stress. When any of those symptoms are struggling, the immune system is often going to struggle along with it. And suddenly, I wasn't looking at joints anymore. I was looking at my daughter. And one of the biggest things that I learned over these years was that many children are going to show signs of these types of imbalances years before they ever receive an autoimmune diagnosis. So you might have already seen things like constipation, skin conditions, food sensitivities, maybe recurring infections, sleep problems, digestive problems. It could be a multitude of things. The body often whispers to us before it screams. And so by the time the arthritis appears, those whispers were likely happening for years. And that doesn't mean that the JIA diagnosis isn't real. It just simply means that there are deeper factors contributing to what you're seeing. And I believe that's where so many families get stuck. It's because they're taught to focus on symptoms, but nobody is helping them to understand the bigger picture. So I want to leave you with this question. What if you're not as far away from the answers than you think you are? What if the reason that you felt stuck isn't because you're failing, but what if it's really because no one has helped you to connect all these pieces? Because here's what I know. Most of the parents that I speak with are already doing far more than the average person would ever do. You're researching, you're advocating for your child, You're changing their diet. You're trying every supplement that you hear that can possibly help. You're attending all the appointments. You are literally fighting for your child every single day. So that tells us the problem is not a lack of effort. It's a lack of clarity, not knowing what to do first, what to do next, what is most important, what is actually moving the needle in my child's health, and what is simply just creating more overwhelm for me. So if you've listened to this video and so far, you're starting to think, you know what? There might be something more to this. I've been feeling like we've been missing something, and I'm looking for a roadmap. Then I'd like you to schedule a strategy session with me. During this call, we're going to look at your child's history, their symptoms, your challenges, and everything you've tried so far. We'll identify what may be keeping your child stuck. We'll talk about where I would focus if this were my own child. And together, we'll determine whether the JIA blueprint is the right fit for your family. Now, I want to be clear, not everyone who books a call joins the blueprint. And the blueprint isn't right for every family. But I do believe that every family deserves clarity. And every family deserves to know what options are available. And every family deserves to stop wondering if they're missing something important. Because 6 months from now, your child is going to be 6 months older. And a year from now, they're going to be a year older. And so the question really is, are you still going to be searching for answers at that time? Or will you finally have found your roadmap and figured it out? Well, if you'd like help figuring out what that roadmap can look like for your child, then book that strategy call with me. I will put the link in my bio. And I would be honored to hear your story and to help you determine what the best next steps could be for your family.